It is September 29th, 2016. It is another episode, maybe the last episode of Impact Implosion here on the AngryMarks Podcast Network. And as always, the man, the Airlux to my Billy Corgan, Mr. Mike Poland.
Because we don't say it's the last episode at least once a year.
I know. That's why I said, maybe?
No, I have a feeling they're going to find enough money to at least get to the end of the year.
Yeah, they'll find something. But before we get to talk about that, there were some small bits of news before that. Bobby Lashley wants to fight Brock Lesnar.
That could actually be a money fight.
Oh, absolutely. Especially at WrestleMania, which he wants to do it.
Ah.
That would be a money fight. Also, Gail Kim is considering retirement soon.
I think we talked about that last week.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Because I mentioned the Gail Kim interview where she listed her favorite opponents and none of them were from TNA.
Oh, yeah.
Hell of a job promoting your company.
Yeah. But we'll get to the big news after talking about Impact because we need to
really
talk about
isn't
that.
much to talk about here, but we'll go through it quickly.
We'll go through it. We start off with JB introducing us to the road to Bound for Glory. And I'm like, we hope. EC3 comes out first, and then Franklin comes out because they're going to announce their opponents.
In totally unpredictable fashion, I bet you can't guess who the partners are.
Yes. Franklin chooses Drew Galloway, who may not be available.
Have a feud with just a few months ago.
Who may not be available or Bound for Glory. By the way, yes, we'll also have to mention that. EC3 chooses Aaron Rex.
Sandow.
Franklin chooses Miracle, and EC3 chooses Moose. And then probably one of the dumbest moves, Franklin chooses Maria. Why?
So EC3 could choose Gail Kim.
I know. I'm just like...
That's about the only reason I could think of.
Yeah, there's no reason. Even he knows Maria's not a wrestler. It's just like... Okay, I choose Sienna.
But she's feuding with Gail Kim.
I know Maria's feuding with Gail. I know. So, Franklin says it will be a slaughter, and EC3 says he can't bully him, that he needs to win, he must win at Bound for Glory. This sounds like the eventual heel turn.
I think EC3 is going to win, but we'll get to that later.
Yes. So, EC3 challenges Franklin to be the first person to be with him. So, Franklin says, sure. I'm in. And our first match is probably the best match in the show, the DJZ versus Eddie Edwards.
By the way, there's no X Division match on the Bound for Glory card.
Nope.
They're all going to be in a gauntlet.
They're all going to be in the Bound for Gold gauntlet.
We'll get to that, too.
And Josh does a terrible segue to plug. We're talking about X Division. Well, there's a lot of disappearances here in the Australian outback. 3,000 of them are never solved.
For some reason, I was hearing the old Soul Asylum song, Runaway Train, while Josh was making this plug.
And I was just like, that's the worst. That is a terrible segue to plug Wolf Creek, which I don't give a crap about, by the way. And in a pretty good match, we get a ZDT and DJZ retains the title. At least we got a clean finish.
The Helms Dynasty
attacks, yeah, after good sportsmanship. Maria's backstage.
Because they're heels. That's about it.
Maria's backstage yelling at Allie for last week, even though Allie really had nothing to do with it.
Even Allie's like, bitch, I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Look, I told you she wasn't part of this show. You wanted it. I chose the one and she's like, had to be made to apologize. And then
you're also going to announce Laurel Van Ness.
Here comes Laurel Van Ness, who's basically the rich girl now, the rich heiress, they do the fake kissing and all that stuff, and says, now look at Laurel Van Ness. she's pretty, she's tall. And I'm like, tall? The fuck does that have to do with anything?
Because they're making fun of Allie for not being able to wrestle and being short.
Yeah.
That's the new thing with this.
And while you're stupid. And Allie is a sad chipmunk after being told to do this.
Oh, you got a ring announcer. Oh. I don't want to do this.
So, earlier today, we had Miracle and Moose in a private discussion with Josh Matthews moderating. This was stupid. Basically just kind of hyping up, doing what this whole show does. Hype up Bound for Glory. That may not happen.
This show, we were talking about it halfway through, and it was a hype show, but it was also flat match-wise.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. We've had only one match so far, I think.
In a half hour.
Yeah. And so, here we go. Bennett says, I thought I brought Moose to do one job. Moose says, you're egotistical. You're jealous of me? Miracle's like, you're jealous of me. And I'm like, no. So Moose says he's going to give Miracle an imaginary present, which is a one-way ticket to hell. Miracle says, hey, I'm the hardest man to pin. I beat EC3.
And then EC3's beaten me like 3 times since then.
Yeah. Moose says, hey, after I kick your ass,
BKZ there, Mike Bennett.
The crowd will chant for me. Moose. So here comes Madison Rayne to face Laurel Van Ness with Allie Chipmunk as announcer. And basically, Laurel Van Ness gets in the ring and has Madison Rayne wants Madison Rayne to kiss her hand. And Madison Rayne's like, bitch? No. So Laurel goes on the outside and tells Allie, powder my face! What?
And Josh says, why don't you do that to me, Pope?
And I'm like, Pope, please just slap him. For that one.
Slap what taste he has out of his mouth.
By the way, found out Josh Matthews blocked me on Twitter, and my response was, fine. I like talking to Pope anyways.
Good.
I like talking to Pope.
Josh.
Yeah, I like talking to Pope. He at least entertains.
He seems like a cool guy.
Yeah. So, Laurel Van Ness is really green.
Ironic, her last name is Green. But
yes, her real last name is Chelsea Green, and she is not TV ready here.
Don't say.
She just looks completely lost.
Her first match since that one night only she was on.
Yeah. And she wins with a curb stomp.
Yay.
So, Allie makes the mistake, calls her Laurel Van Ness, and she's like, Laurel Van Ness. Makes her correct.
Was she Rob Van Dam?
No, she's got to make it. So, Franklin says, hey, look, guys, I'm going to give you all a chance to get the first title shot after I beat EC3 at Bound for Glory. But you got to take him out.
I guess that's better than the money TNA doesn't have, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
And then here comes Drew Galloway and Aaron Rex to talk about the Impact Grand Championship Tournament Finals, a match that may not happen.
This was terrible.
This really did expose a lot of Aaron Rex as being just okay.
He's nothing special. He had a good gimmick.
He had a good gimmick. He really is proven, yeah. Drew talks about how he's the hero of the company. He changed things. This place is now.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, of course. He's being the arrogant heel. But it makes sense.
Right.
And he stole his line of Aaron Rex's line of, you're welcome. And Aaron's like, first of all, get a new tagline. Stop stealing mine. And you Galloway'd up and all that. He's like, what? And I'm like, what? And then he puts his foot in his mouth and says, Galloway, a noun. Which means a greasy ball, whatever. And I'm like, you just said it as a verb. What are you, Kevin Nash here?
Scott Steiner, maybe?
Are you Kevin Nash here trying to say play is an adjective? The hell? I will beat Drew right. And then I was like, I'll beat you right here, right now. And then they still talk, and I'm like, then do it. And Drew's like, ooh, just called him a stunt double. The stunt guy. Which he was. And then security comes out to hold Aaron Rex, and Galloway does cheap shot.
You stunt man.
And
now I'm
pile
mad.
driver. So yes, will this be the scene on Sunday? Probably not, as Drew, once again, got injured. We'll talk about that. Decay promo, which is really good.
Unfortunately, the match that follows is not.
Yes. No. Rebby versus Rosemary.
Rebby's not a wrestler.
And she obviously took some of the gear from Velvet Sky in her short run as a cat girl.
Yeah. Just add a whipped it out ensemble and she can be a dominatrix.
Yeah. So, Rebby Sky hits a twist of fate on Rosemary. Distraction. Rosemary mists Rebby Sky. But and this is like, Rosemary should be destroying her out there. So, the Hardys and Decay go to the back. And Rosemary does the right thing and side effects Rebby through a table. Decay. And then we go to the coin flip.
I wonder what's going to happen here.
Franklin wins.
Of course. Why wouldn't he?
EC3's like, I'll see you out there first. And I'm like, dude, it's a trap. So, we get to see them backstage, and creepy music starts accompanying them. And I'm like, and then we get a moment where Matt Hardy and, Brother Nero and, Crazy Steve are fighting. They're biting each other and stuff like that. Matt Hardy deleted a bit balls. Basically,
I'm pretty sure those were deleted a long time ago with the way this company uses them.
Kicked them in the balls and then shoved the ladder down them.
Oof.
But then, it also takes, Brother Nero gets taken out by, Steve. And then, Jet Biss electrocutes Matt Hardy in the balls.
No more children for Matt.
Grabs wires and electrocutes Matt Hardy.
And again, I'm surprised he has a child right now.
And then that we get special cuts to say decay.
I was kind of hoping they would just brawl all the way to Bound for Glory if it happens.
I know. These are really interesting cuts they've made here in the show. Like, they did like the freaking 3 cut on the screen of all 3 of them.
The Brady Bunch spot.
Yeah, you're just like, wow. So, we gotta stop with that, and with Maria and Gail being moderated by Mackenzie Mitchell, who is the female TNA interviewer.
She is TNA's Renee Young.
Yeah, except Renee Young gets used more.
Yeah.
And Maria says, I'll find a way to win. And Gail basically says, I'm gonna kick your ass. That was it.
Pointless segment.
So, we don't get a Fixer commercial because the Fixer is actually here.
I just happened to be hanging out backstage tonight.
And he talks about winning the last year's Bound for Gold and says, due to bad management decisions, I fucked it up.
No, they just forgot about you for like 6 months.
And then and lost. So, yeah, it's like, so Eli Drake says, I have a business proposition for you. You've helped Matt Hardy, you've helped EC3, so help me. Let's go to Bound for Glory and let's be Bound for Gold. And he's like, well, I am a fixer, but you're a problem, and I'm gonna fix you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's gonna we basically tease a future feud between Tyrus and Eli Drake.
That won't happen.
Goody.
Yeah,
time for the hard sell of the show that may not happen to our predictions after that. But EC3's pep talking his team. Then we get more hype to the main event for Bound for Glory. That may not happen. This whole show may not happen. And we get Lethal Lockdown. And Spud basically says probably one of the best things that reminds me of the flaw of this whole winner chooses match stipulation. Chooses match stipulation. You can pick a ring surrounded by sharks and fire, only EC3 Ethan Carter TNA can lose match. I just want to thank you for reminding me the flaw of this whole thing. Basically, if this is real life, and you can choose any match you want, you choose a match where you lose. I win. Bottom line, that's it. I win match.
Yeah.
Oh, so EC3 comes out first, predictable, and then here comes Franklin getting ready, and it's a trap. Miracle comes out.
You don't say it's a trap. Holy crap.
It's a trap. And then Josh is like, EC3's being noble out there. I'm like, EC3 was stupid.
The stupid baby face.
So, second person out for Franklin's team, Drew Galloway. And you have 2 minutes, EC3, against two guys who legit hate you, and they beat the hell out of him. But we get a commercial break and a sneak peek for Wolf Creek.
Who cares?
In the freaking middle of your main event.
That's because TNA and WWE doesn't always do that. I mean...
Yeah. And here comes Aaron Rex to even the odds, as he wants Galloway. Then here comes Franklin to make the odds in the favor of Team Turtle.
Team Turtle.
And here comes Moose to even the odds.
Maria and Turtle and the Moose.
Be less, but will they really make the odds better?
Yeah,
Here comes Maria. She just stays on the outside like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
And then Gail comes out and eventually pitches her ass in.
Yeah, throws her ass in. And in the best moment, and in probably the stupidest moment out, they run out of the cage immediately and into the back.
Well, that accomplished nothing.
That was fucking pointless. So, in a strange moment, the heels start beating up the faces.
Who booked this?
And then Franklin gets beaten up by the face with weapons. Each heel beats up a face. We go down, and a face beats up. Then we go down to Franklin and EC3. Franklin locks EC3 in that choke. EC3 goes for the ropes, but this is a steel cage match. Where that
he
can't
should
be
realize.
And
the ropes are covered by a cage.
And forgets that there's a weapon closer to the ropes that he could have used to hit him on that freaking head.
No.
And Franklin just beat EC3 clean via submission. I know he passed out, but it's a submission win. Let me explain the problems of this. You are a booker. Your biggest show of the year.
Might be in the tank as it is, but
yeah, you're booking WrestleMania. It's Triple H versus The Rock, and you need to book the go home show.
I wouldn't actually have these two in a match.
Well, no. Well, even then, you have them in a 6-man tag match. The last thing you do is have Triple H pin The Rock clean.
You have The Rock pin one of Triple H's lackeys and look at him and say, that's going to be you on Sunday.
Or you have the heel pin one of the baby faces via shenanigans. Not the guy who you're facing.
One of the underlings.
So, now you've just had the face challenger, the guy who basically may be the only shot at beating this heel champion, this dominant heel champion, and he's lost already to him. Clean. It's not like he's lost. He lost clean. Right down the middle. They both had a shot. He beat him.
Bad booking.
That's terrible booking. Why would I want to see your main event world title match now. Why? You basically just told me there's no point. EC3 is inferior to Franklin over here. Franklin would beat him. And then to put piss all over this Sunday, Franklin decides the match is going to be no holds barred.
And then what was the match he beat Drew in at Slammiversary? Was that no holds barred too?
No, and that was another stupid moment for Drew to say, hey, this match is going to be you can only win via submission or knockout.
Which is what Lashley specializes in.
Yes.
Way to book your top baby faces. No wonder they all turn heel.
Yes. So, yeah, we're going to have a no-holds-barred world title match, even though we just had a fucking hardcore match.
And what do you suppose the Great War, if it happens, is going to be?
It's going to be the ultimate hardcore match. Everywhere they're going to fight everywhere. I hope they fight in Universal Studios and fight all over.
Start at the beginning of the show and end it somewhere before the main event.
Oh, by the way, Commander Cody is showing up. I know it's Cody Rhodes, but they just call him Cody, so I'm calling him Cody.
Because we can't use the Rhodes theme and we're not smart enough to use Runnels.
Yeah, we're stupid.
Let's get into all the TNA news of the week here.
Well, actually, no, let's get into the predictions for Bound for Glory if it happens.
Yep.
We have, basically, Maria versus Gail Kim for the Knockouts title.
Who cares?
Gail's winning.
Yep.
You basically have set it all up. Gail's winning. There's the Bound for Gold match, which I think Cody Rhodes is going to be in.
What a way to debut someone.
Yeah, what a way, and he might win. I have no idea or no care of who wins this match because they're going to fuck it up anyway, like they always do. We have Moose versus Mike Bennett.
I say Moose.
I say Moose too. Mike Bennett tries to cheat. Cody Rhodes comes in and stops him from doing it, and we set that feud up.
Cody distracts him, Bennett gets speared, and Moose wins.
Aaron Rex versus Drew Galloway, if it happens at all, like I teased earlier, Drew Galloway got injured at a house show. He has mentioned this, and it is not clear.
When was this house show? Because TNA doesn't do house shows.
No, not a house show. An independent wrestling show. Indie show.
Yeah, okay.
An indie wrestling show. He got hurt. He's hurt, and he may not be able to wrestle at Bound for Glory. He may not be able to get clear, so they'll have to replace him with somebody. So this whole match
that could be where Cody debuts.
That could be. But, so, winner gets the Grand Championship.
Yeah.
If Drew wrestles, he will win it. I have no care otherwise. I don't think Aaron's going to win the belt.
I hope not.
I hope not either. He has really
under-delivered in this role.
All right. The main event, Lashley versus EC3. The supposed main event.
Say EC3 wins.
I say EC3 wins, but his fucking balls have been cut off because of this loss, so it doesn't fucking matter.
His balls were cut off when they turned him face.
No. And the real main event, the Great War.
I think this is the Hardy's exit.
Maybe it is. Who knows? But Maxwell's kind of... Maxwell might be on the line, kind of.
Oh, God. That poor little man.
That poor little kid. That was probably one of the funniest parts, as Rosemary, this freaky woman, is holding this child, and Maxwell's there like, eh.
Get me out of this house.
No, he's not like, get me out of this house. He doesn't care. He's like, I've seen too much of this shit, so whatever.
I'm 1 year old.
What year? I've seen too much shit. It's a child who's seen too much shit and is not affected whatsoever by any more craziness.
Where's child services? Is this child services? No, this is just some weird woman holding me.
I don't care. Fuck it.
Take me. Abduct me. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. Yes, I understand Vanguard 1 perfectly. To get out of there. Okay. Yes, yes, I know I can understand a talking drone.
For some reason.
For some reason. I'm a child. Whatever. My dad, look at my dad.
Look at his brother.
Look at my brother.
No, I mean, look at Matt's brother.
Look at my uncle. Maxwell's like, man, whatever. Man,
I have no chance of being normal.
No, he doesn't. He just doesn't care. And it's the greatest thing ever. He has not affected one bit of all this crazy shit that's going on. My grandfather's the fucking gardener.
This is gonna end with it just being like a dream of Maxwell.
Yeah.
Like he's looking into a snow globe.
And everything's gonna be back to normal.
Maxwell, what happened? I have no idea.
I had the strangest dream ever.
6 months.
I had the strangest dream ever. So yes.
And you were there, and you were there.
And there were some crazy people, clown people.
There was a talking robot.
There was a talking robot. Grandfather, you were the gardener somehow.
My God, this is gonna be a fun therapy session in a few years.
Your Argentinian housemaid you thought was Latino for some reason. You kept yelling delete at everybody.
Jeff was obsolete for whatever reason.
Absolutely, Jeff was
Nero.
Obsolete brother Nero, an obsolete mule who needed to get reincarnated from the Lake of Reincarnation. You have a boat with the name on it.
Well, actually, that might be the most normal thing of this whole thing.
Yeah, you named your boat Skarsgård.
I need shock treatment now.
Matt Hardy, you had a moment where you swallowed mist, swallowed a woman's spit. That was not Rebby's. And spit it back at her.
They're burning crosses for some reason.
We're burning Hardy symbols. Willow showed up. Joseph Park showed up at some point. Senior Mr. Benjamin, Mr. Grandpa, your phone was a taser.
There was a zone of impact for some point.
Yeah, there was a zone of impact. This clown lady could shoot up the freaking pole. Yeah.
That's just half of it.
That's half of it, yeah. Everything was crazy.
And speaking of crazy, TNA's had a crazy few days this week.
Yes, apparently they have until tomorrow, or today in a few hours, to sell the company.
Oh, boy. Okay, so first story is they apparently have no money to run Bound for Glory. Who is going over their books?
Yeah. And apparently...
Dixie forget to do that?
Not only do they have no runs through the books, but they've had to apparently cancel flights, even though that has been disputed.
Delay.
It's been disputed, these flights. Things. And Dixie Carter is really being a pain in the ass because as someone personally said, at one point, it seemed like Aerolex was going to have it, and at another point, it seemed like Billy Corgan had the deal done. And
Dixie Carter's a moron, yes, we know.
Dixie Carter's basically fucking all this up. They have no idea.
Dixie, step back. Your company's going to die if you don't.
Yeah. Just needs to sell it. Apparently, $4 million is the asking price, but there's a lot of shit going on to get to the $4 million.
I want to be a fly on the wall of the TNA auction.
Yeah. Apparently WWE might be involved thanks to Jim Gabrick, who thought, if I get
John Gabrick.
John Gabrick, Big John Gabrick, thinking,
The other Big Johnny.
Hey, Big Johnny, hey, if I get TNA to WWE, their library, maybe they'll hire me back.
No.
So, yeah, basically that, since he's good friends with Kevin Dunn, which explains a lot.
You have a bad taste in people.
Yeah, so this really, nobody has any idea what's going on. The debts, whoever buys this company is going to have a huge debt, because if it's Corgan or Aerolux buys the company, the other one's going to want their money paid because they put out a loan.
God.
WWE will only buy the library, and right now they're not really in it because they're like, we're not going to. They're like, we're gonna wait this out. We're gonna only be in this if every other option is gone. If every other option is out, okay, sure, we'll buy it. They'll take library and kill Impact. Sinclair's also interested, and they're also not it. So Billy Corgan said that he paid for the past few TV tapings. He doesn't think he's going to pay for any more TV. He's not going to pay any more loans. If he pays for it, he wants full control.
Smart man.
Both Aerolux and Corgan disagree on a lot of things, but the only thing they do agree on is that Dixie needs to go.
And you have probably quite a few people that would agree with you on that.
Yeah. So
she is the cancer that's killing this company.
Yeah, she is. And the only reason she's keeping it alive is somehow I think she visions herself as being a reality star, TV star. She's tried several times to get a reality TV show and tried to be on one of those Real Housewives shows. They've all failed.
So just give it up, Dixie.
Yeah, it's really completely bogus. Everything's completely screwed up. There are a lot of hurdles and games being played. Dixie has made a mess and is responsible for all of this. So, this really is just completely screwed up. Also, Fight TV has a stake in the company too.
Which that's an app, right?
Yeah. They have a small stake in the company too. So, they need $600,000 to book the upcoming tapings and Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
And they're going to need a lot of debt because $2 million in debt at the very least. So whoever buys this company is going to have to deal with the debt as well.
And of course, you got the apologists that I've run into online saying, "Oh, this is all Meltzer. It's all wrong." I'm like, no.
Wrestling Inc. is also confirming this. As that the things, and the only people who are trying not to confirm it is PWI, who's had a history of defending the show. Other ideas Corgan's had, change the name of the company,
rebranding it again, which they've tried a few times.
Yeah, completely kill the TNA name. Kill it. It's dead. Do a full-length Hardy movie based on the new characters.
Yes! I'd watch that.
Do some innovative ideas. Would want to see CM Punk come in. Hope he'd be praying against doubt.
Unfortunately, I don't think they have a large enough dump trunk full of money.
I know. So yeah, there is a lot of things going on, and hopefully this will be all figured out. I do believe there will be a Bound for Glory show.
I think at least they'll be Bound for Glory, and if it's their last show, it'll be kind of similar to when ECW did a Guilty as Charged in 2001.
Yes, I think that'll be the same thing. TNA has made a lot of mess of this whole thing. Unfortunately, Galloway, as I've mentioned, he has a bad back. He had a match where he was spiked badly on the back of his neck.
Yikes. terrible.
It's very likely he could have been paralyzed. Apparently his muscle flexibility, along with some luck, is going to allow him to pretty quick recovery, but we don't know what the time frame is.
Also, back to TNA's money problems. How do you fix money problems? Well, let's hire new talent.
Yes, they've hired new talent.
No, you fix the money problems. You don't hire new talent. You try to get out of whatever debt you're in.
And this confirms also the whole thing that everyone was like, James Storm is gone. This confirms that James Storm left the company. That everyone's like, oh, it could be an insider a play and stuff. No, he's gone. He's done. Also, the TV is not going to be a huge revenue on this one. Because they only get half of the advertising, and they don't get much. So
also, I hear all the time that they're doing the VIP stuff for TNA shows, and I'm like, if you're not making money, you probably shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. They're not making money. So, yes,
I'm hoping that Bound for Glory, if it does turn out to be their last show, pull out all the stops for it. If not, I'm hoping that they can at least have enough money to go through the rest of the year. And then do what you can.
Yeah. The problem with there being no Bound for Glory or no TV is they have deals where they must produce new TV, they must produce a pay-per-view on this date, they'll be in breach of contract if they fail on those. Which means they'll be losing shit. They'll lose the TV deal if they're in breach of that contract, or they'll lose the pay-per-view company deal. So they're in a shit ton of trouble.
Yeah.
I do think TNA will pop through this. They'll find a way. At least
there's a little engine that could. They always find a way to get through this.
Well, they're not the little engine that could. They're the cockroach.
Yes. We have this discussion at least once every year.
Yes.
Whether it's losing a TV deal or something like this, where it looks like the end, and they either, get a TV deal, or they'll, Billy Corgan or someone will hit a gold mine and find the money to pay.
Now, the good news with this, if it's ultimately Dixie Carter's gone, is they may get better TV deals, because Dixie Carter has caused a lot of the issues. The cancellation on both channels were caused by Dixie Carter's being completely terrible.
Stupid.
Being completely stupid, hiring people that they wanted not hired.
Vince Russo, cough.
Yeah, the Vince Russo situation, which absolutely just spit in the face of Spike when they had to make their final decision. The Toby Keith thing, where Bob Carter said Dixie Carter's got to remain employed. But unfortunately, her daddy washed his hands of the company some time back. Yeah, so she's on her own on this one. So they have nothing.
You got nothing, Dixie.
You got nothing. You might as well just sell the company to hopefully keep it alive. You've had a terrible run. You're trying to find a way to save face here. There is no saving face. You've screwed every face up. So just go. Go away. Never be heard from again.
Let Billy Corgan, who actually seems to know at least a little bit of what he's doing, take over.
Oh, by the way, one of the WWE deal thing is, if WWE buys it, both Dixie Carter and Billy Corgan cannot be involved with wrestling for a certain number of years.
Ooh.
That would be part of their deal.
The restraining order.
No, basically it'd be a no-compete clause. So, same thing Ted Turner had even though Ted Turner could not start up a new company.
Right.
So, basically that's going to be what happens. We won't know what the future is. If this is the last show, Well, we might do one more show to remember
Yes, the best and the worst of
TNA. Who knows? This has just been a completely disastrous week. Not helped by everyone basically being assholes on Twitter. Mostly people who support TNA are basically saying, "Oh, our morale's fine. Everything's fine."
No, it's not, you morons.
It's not. When it's not. So
when the leader of your company, or whatever Dixie might be now, is not making public this information, it's not fine.
Yeah.
If this was happening to Vince, you would hear him come out and say there wouldn't be, the Observer or Wrestling Inc. or one of those sites coming out and saying it.
So yeah.
And on that note,
do you have anything to sell?
I don't believe so.
Saturday I posted the induction to Sharknado. It was probably one of the longest inductions I've ever done, and it was probably one of the ones I enjoyed the most doing. And the next one will be Jaws 3.
Bigger Jaws. Oh wait,
Jaws in SeaWorld. Oh God! And some of it's supposed to be in 3D, but they never got it to 3D on VHS, so a lot of it will look weird. It was supposed to be in 3D. So yeah, with that said, Miley, we are going for one last walk and then heading to bed.
Good night, everybody. We might be back next week.
Good night and good luck.